Welcome to the Road to Redemption podcast with your host, Cam Williamson. Each week, Cam sets out to shatter the labels and stigmas associated with mental health awareness by giving life lessons and raw overviews of events happening around the world.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your grateful host, Cam Williamson, and today I think I got some helpful stuff for you. We're going to do a little bit of catch up on what's been going down online. Kanye West making anti-Semitic remarks, how different groups are responding to that or not responding at all. We'll talk about that. And then at the end, I'm going to share, like always, my mental health journey and the wave that it's been recently, the massive downs and then the big upturn, and how I've been discussing that with loved ones. So we're going to get into it. First off, Kanye West hops on the Drink Champs podcast and initially starts to make a ton of wild remarks, right? Which is nothing new. We all saw the downward, I was going to say upward trend of events, but the downturn of Kanye West when Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson started to see one another. That was tragic. I felt bad for him. I don't think anyone's divorce or relationship ending should be blasted all over social media, but he kind of did that to himself. So there was that. When that all died and they finally broke up, it seemed like Kanye's ego was so shattered by social media shutting him down and all this stuff. I don't know really what goes on behind the scenes of Kanye's life because I don't follow him. I don't particularly care for his music. I don't care for Yeezys. I just don't care. I don't think he's a legend or a genius or anything like that. So when Kanye started off with all the anti-Semitic stuff, saying that Jews own, so many different industries, and that George Floyd wasn't killed by Derek Chauvin, but he was killed by fentanyl. Okay, first off, stop. For everyone who wants to refer to the coroner's report or the toxicology report that says he had fentanyl and a lethal dose of fentanyl in his system, guys, anything really can be a lethal dose of fentanyl. Because he had fentanyl in his system was not the reason he died. Andrew Schultz said it best, where had he just been standing there uneventful, not with the police, would he have still died? We don't know, but we do know that when a man put his knee on his neck under the conditions he was in, which again, even if Derek Chauvin knew he was on drugs, it's your job to make sure that the person in your custody is safe at all times. Derek Chauvin didn't do that. He killed George Floyd. George Floyd was murdered. So just because he had fentanyl in his system doesn't then mean that the fentanyl is what killed him, right? So, okay, we can just eliminate that dumb shit right there. That is all. I don't know why Kanye does that, because you would think he would want support from people in his life, especially from his fellow African-American communities, but it seems like he doesn't at all. It seems almost like as he's standing up going like, do y'all know what I've done for black people? Do you know what? At the same token, he's kind of like shitting all over his own community, which I don't understand the win in that. I don't understand the win in being anti-Semitic and saying he's about to go like DEFCON 3 on the Jews. Like, y'all have to understand what that means. And you have to understand what that means for Jewish people. And I didn't know what that meant for Jewish people. It wasn't until all this stuff came down that I really realized how little I know about Jewish history and how little I know about the Holocaust and how there was a, ramping up process to it, and how a lot of things that were being said leading up to the Holocaust are being repeated now. I'm not Jewish. I did not grow up with any Jewish friends or know anyone who was Jewish outside of one family that lived across the street from the people that homeschooled me. They were what was called Messianic Jewish, which is essentially they believe in the New Testament as well, but they lived like the Amish. So they were farmers, they wore the overalls and the beards, they did all that as well. So it was kind of different, right? It wasn't like You didn't see like Hasidic Jews where there was, the traditional, whatever you call them. I don't know what they call their sideburns in the specific thing, so I don't want to be disrespectful, but I never saw, anything like that. We learned the dreidel song around the holiday season just because they were like, hey, this is what Jewish people celebrate. But we never had, or if we did, there wasn't a Jewish kid that was like, hey, this is actually what we do. This is why we do it. This is our food. Like, the Jewish culture was always like, yeah, they wandered the desert for a long time, and then they had Hanukkah. And, and then there was the Holocaust, which was terrible, and we don't talk about that. So, Jewish people. And then let's not act like it wasn't always something that people have said, that, like, Jewish people run movie, industries, or that Jewish people run music, or that, I mean, for God's sakes, the whole Straight Outta Compton movie is essentially pointing light at what Kanye is trying to say. But that's all Kanye has to say is like, well, look at NWA. Look what happened to them. Look at what Jerry Heller did to those guys. And it was like, yeah, but that was Jerry Heller. That wasn't the entire Jewish community. Jerry Heller's a piece of shit. Look at, like, the Backstreet Boys manager. I don't know if he was Jewish, but he did the same type of shit. And it was like all these pieces of shit that were in Harvey Weinstein. I don't know if he was Jewish, but look at the terrible shit he did. And it's like, yeah, you have to judge people by who they are as themselves. You can't, and this is why I don't like organized religion. This is why I don't identify with Christianity or Catholicism or any of that shit. It's because it's like, yo, we should all have separate beliefs. We've all lived separate lives. If you believe that, whatever, I'm not going to get into religion right now, but like in Kanye's case, for you as Kanye to act like you know anything about like Jewish suffering or anything like that, and for us to even continue this game where we try to compare like who suffered more, what win do you get at the end of that game, right? Because now we've gone so far on the other side where now Kanye is saying things like black people enslaved themselves. And black people were not kings in Africa and stuff like this, which if you look into it, there are facts that African kings sold their own people into slavery. And that is the foundation of how it began. It's not like we as white people, the proverbial we of white people, I guess, because I wasn't born until 92, so me and nobody I fucking know had any part of this, but they went to a marketplace that was available. They didn't go into Africa and just start throwing motherfuckers over their shoulders and throwing them onto a bus or onto a boat, right? So, but that's what I always thought, and that's where like white guilt does come in, where you're like, Jesus Christ, man. People that look like me did do fucked up shit. If they just walked into Africa and just started fucking, come on, and it's like, and then you imagine, like, I got homies that are black. Like, I don't want to imagine my homie shackled in a boat and be like, Jesus Christ, man, like, what the fuck? And then you imagine, like, what happened to people on plantains and the whippings, and, like, if you've seen Roots or whatever, it's like, the way it's portrayed, it's fucking terrible, slavery. So the Jews were enslaved as well, so let's not play the suffering game with anyone. Then, because why? Why? What do people naturally want to do? They want to start going, well, Irish people were actually kind of slaves too at one point, and the Italians were treated like shit. And it's like, hey, it's 2022, almost 2023. Can we just decide to be nice now? Be nice now. Can we do that? Can you be nice now? Hey, Kanye, can you be nice? Can you stop? If you want to win your wife back, be nice. You had to have been nice at some point. As someone who's a bipolar 1 manic depressive, if this is a manic episode on Kanye, I can tell you he believes everything he's saying. And that's a fucking problem. Because when you're a bipolar 1 manic depressive and you isolate everyone from your life and you get these new things that just, they set off those things in your brain that you're looking for. It's that shot, it's that drug hit of like, oh, this is my new thing. This is my new passion. This is my new interest. And like for me, I was kind of afraid that rock climbing was just a temporary pass for me, but it's not. It's stood the test of a manic episode, and not. But it's like, I can tell you from experience, like, you can just believe, like, I'm going to learn this language. I'm going to learn everything I can about this culture. And then you care about that for a week, and you might learn enough to get yourself into an ignorant conversation where you don't really know, but you kind of know. And it's like, I can just tell you that Kanye might have himself in a space that maybe he didn't mean to get himself in the sense of he knows shock and awe sells. I think he also, unfortunately, believes he is some sort of genius, and that when people that are around him are smart enough to figure out how Kanye ticks, they say things in certain ways so they make it seem like he thinks it was his idea or that he's going to be the one to go out and preach this. It's like, yeah, you think most people are going to go out and like champion this documentary that Candace Owens did about Black Lives Matter? It's like, yeah, most people know that the organization of Black Lives Matter ended up being terrible for the black community in all reality. The movement of Black Lives Matter and what it meant, that was not, and that is still continuing. So it's like, yeah, it's super complicated, but when it's as simple as this: hurt people hurt people. So somebody really hurt, or multiple people really hurt Kanye West, and he doesn't know what to do about it. Life does put you in situations sometimes where there's nothing you can do, right? His wife's not coming back. She's not answering your calls, dog. Other than probably nannies and shit that are doing the child exchange, you don't know her anymore. She's not your property, and that's big for Kanye. You don't own her. She's not a master that you're trying to get back, or, you know, with the right bidding and whatever. Kanye looks at everything, and I hear him say it in, like, on the Lex Friedman podcast, because I have been tuning into these talks that he's giving, if you can call them that, and I hear how he's like, I'm only with the baddest bitches. Look at my track record. It's like, you think that's what people think is cool? You think people think you're cool for the women you date after we see how you act? No, everybody feels bad for those women. So if they are 10s, like you're claiming they are, it's giving a bad look on them, where it's like, oh, okay, you can be beautiful and make dumb decisions and put up with dumb shit. And how many of us know beautiful women who have great hearts and they put up with fucking idiots? They get cheated on, they get talked to like shit, they get, downplayed at every turn because they think that they're some kind of creative fucking genius, when really you're either Kanye West or you're a fucking barista living in a van talking about you know shit about something. You don't know nothing. None of us do, guys. Because guess what? If any of us knew shit for real, we would have the credentials and the things behind us to go, look, this is why I can stand in this truth, whether it be about the Holocaust, whether it be about slavery, whether it could be about whatever. If you're not a fucking historian with a certified, or you've dedicated your life to it, or you grew up in the knowledge that came from foundation of truth, and you can show all of that, I think in today's day and age, we need not even discuss it anymore, because we have so much misinformation all over, not just on social media, online, in articles and blogs and videos. There is so much mistruth out there. Unless you're willing to completely indulge yourself for months into learning the full history of the Jewish people and the German people and how that happened, and then how the Jewish people came to be way before that, all the way back from the fucking beginning, and not just what the Bible says about it, not just what your favorite, Jewish author says about it. Read all perspectives. Figure it out. Figure out what happened. So that way, when you see people ignorantly arguing, you can go, that's such an uneducated conversation that's going on. I don't even need to engage in it. I see people trying to champion Kanye West and go, oh, Kanye's actually spitting some truth on this. We can't allow that narrative to go. Because just because Kanye has mentioned the fact that George Floyd had fentanyl in his system and the fact that some of his managers or record executives happen to be Jewish, that does not validate his points. It doesn't make what he's saying okay, and he should not be championed in any way. Now, great, all these companies and whatever are cutting their ties with him. They should have done that fucking 9 months ago when he was cutting Pete Davidson's head off and shit. But they didn't, because it wasn't, there's two guys getting in the internet spat, just two celebs talking shit. Well, what did I tell y'all then? This is going to get bad for Kanye. Because when people enable it, when they encourage it, it's like when a kid is doing wild shit in a restaurant and somebody's like, and the parent's like, would you fucking not? Because now I have to deal with that, right? That's exactly what was going on back when he was throwing shots at Pete and stuff. You go, this is about to get bad. This is going to get bad. And then he went away for a minute. They banned him on social media, and then nobody paid attention. Nobody gave a fuck. And then boom, Kanye flare up. And it's like, either get fucking help or stay out of the news with this. Like, and I saw something online where someone just put, like, the simple end to this is to stop having Kanye on your show. And he's 1,000% right. Stop interviewing Kanye West. We don't need to hear what he has to say right now. Simple as that, right? He's not a politician. He's not in power. He's not anyone of importance. So why the fuck are we listening to Kanye West about anything? I've never understood that. Dave Chappelle used to have that famous bit about when he's like, when famous people give their opinions on stuff, and he was like, oh, what would Ja Rule do in a time like this? And it was like, nobody's ever wondering what the fuck a rapper or a musician or a basketball player, unless you look up to them as a person, which if you look up to Kanye as a person, you have other issues. If you look up to them as a person, fine. You can look to them as like a what would Jesus do kind of bracelet kind of thing. But that's just so unhealthy in and of itself. Again, we're reverting. Kanye, you fucked up, dog. You fucked up bad. I hope you get help, and I hope you get some people around you that, tell you the real deal about life and not this crazy facade that you're putting on. Next up, how to find center, balance in a time of panicky craziness. My life has been craziness. I, over the last couple of weeks, have just been super stressed. A lot of shit going on in my house. My kid doesn't ever want to sleep. Keeps me up till like 1 a.m. Just got a lot of shit going on here at the house. And work has been kind of crazy as far as trying to keep on a constant schedule for the cast and getting my climbing in and getting stronger and not doing it too much for YouTube, but also that it is a part of what I do on YouTube is record that. Balancing everything. The other day, I felt it coming, and I came into a full panic. Just panicked. I was like, fuck, I thought I was over this. I thought, not taking that steroid anymore. I thought that's what that was. Well, now it seems that I have some sort of panic issue where I can suddenly get feelings of kind of panic. And it's like, okay, that sucks a lot. It really sucks. But because of the last time I just had, if you guys don't know, I got bit up by chiggers, got put on a steroid. The steroid gave me panic attacks, and I had to find a way to navigate through that because I ended up calling the ambulance thinking I was dying. So I've had to deal with that in little tiny bits. One big episode that lasted maybe 30 minutes. But other than that, I just get little like, oh shit, kind of things. But every day it's gotten better. Like I haven't really had one in like 2 days, and I'm starting to feel like myself again. And I say all this to say, like, I could relate to some of Kanye because I don't know if I've been manic for the last week or so. I've just been kind of in this phase where time hasn't made any sense. Nothing really makes sense. I feel like I'm looking at through everything through like this weird cloudy veil of nothing where it's like life has just been going on, and I feel like that scene from a movie where I'm standing still and everything's moving super fast around me, but time is just like barely trickling through. And then I look up and it's 8 days later, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, I can't tell you how many times I was driving places and I was just like, did I even pay attention to a fucking street light? Like, what the fuck is going on? And just all these weird feelings, just like getting super emotional all of a sudden. And it's been a rough time, but through that, I've also been coming off cannabis. So I've been about a week now with not smoking cannabis, which is cool. But it's been rough because it adds to that. I never thought I could actually do it, and I did it. I use just straight CBD now, and that sucks, but it is what it is. I needed to give myself time to chill. and to recenter my nervous system. And I can tell you all, it's worth doing it. It sucks. You got a lot of uncomfortability to go through, but you need to go through it. And I think that's what my body needed. My body, I guess in a sense, needed to panic, needed to get all the stress out that I had been pushing down and 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 just not, again, you don't really deal with it. You think when you smoke that you're dealing with things. You're not. You're just dissolving them. But the problem with your problems is you can't dissolve your problems forever. So you're either going to have to go and smoke again to dissolve it again, and then one day something's going to happen where you're not going to be able to do that, or it's not going to be conducive to your lifestyle anymore, and you're going to have to sit and go, "Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh God, here's everything I've not been dealing with." Ooh, and it doesn't feel like everything flashing back to you. It feels like shortness of breath, lightheadedness, and oh, fuck. And it feels like I got to get the fuck out of here now. Like, for me, sweating, chest feels like it's caving in. Oh, my fuck. It's bad. But had every time I had my heart broken, or had every time I had a conversation that I wished I'd have said that thing that I didn't say, or every time I wished I'd have told someone to fuck off and I didn't, or sometimes I told someone to fuck off and I shouldn't have. When you finally, stop pushing and stop dissolving, you have to feel. Your brain is going to go, remember all this? Remember all these days that you didn't remember? Not that you didn't remember. I'm not out here to paint like cannabis is it's this drug. It's not. It heals and it helps and it saved my life. But at the same token, it's like, remember all these things that you had to put a Band-Aid over because it was too hard to deal with right now? Well, the Band-Aid's off now and it healed, but at the same token, like you didn't deal with it. It never saw the light of day. So now you have to let it see the light of day. And when it sees the light of day, there might be a scar there. And if there's a scar there, that scar might itch sometimes. If the weather's dry or, the sun's out a lot, like your life is forever different now. And you have to be able to accept that. So guess what? You can't accept anything else except sometimes. Hacky as fuck, I understand. I'm sorry. Breathe, man. And for me, that's so hard because my breath isn't the cause of my anxiety. The panic that started for me the other day was I was in the shower and all of a sudden I got this gripping reality that I am real. I'm a real fucking person who's always actually been alive. I really have kids. I've really met people. All those people really know me, could know me by name, by face, and I'm a real fucking person that existed. And like all of a sudden I felt like my whole life was caving in. I was like, holy fuck. I felt like I just like Ready Player One'd myself, where it was like, ready, action. And I was like, like, whoa, shit, I'm here. Where the fuck did I get here? And it was like I had been in this daze for years where I'm like, fuck, planet Earth and people and me and And it was this crazy like reality shock of like, yo, this is your life. You're fucking in it, dude. You gotta get in there and start doing this shit. And here's the crazy bitch of it all. That anxiety that you're so fucking scared of, you're afraid that it's gonna kill you, go out and do a bunch of shit. Right? You're afraid that you're gonna fall over dead. Go try it. If you fall over dead, you're gonna fall over dead, whether you're having a panic attack in your house or you're doing the shit you think you could do. But watch, when you go do the shit you wanna do, the panic stops. I stopped what I believe could have been either a manic episode or an issue with panic episodes by the day I didn't want to. I was like, I'm going fucking rock climbing today. And I had the best day of climbing I've had in 2 fucking weeks. I hope you guys saw some of it on yesterday's vlog. Go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. While you're there, like this video, like that video, subscribe to it all, hit the bell so you get notified. Again, fucking thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Most of you guys don't subscribe. You watch it in secret, you fucks. Hit the bell. I'm out of here. I love you.